Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Benzie here, and I'm bringing you a Skyreach build guide. I've been working on this for a long time. I've been selling Skyreach runs for quite a while, so I figured I would make a video sharing what I've learned and what I've put together. So to start off, on this build we are a Khajiit, mainly because of Feline Ambush, increase your critical damage and critical healing by 12%. It's going to be a major help in here as we are specting the crit on this account pretty heavily. After that, we are a nightblade. Also, I think this is very important, mainly because of our ultimate, which I will get to in a minute here. But Khajiit nightblade I found to work the best, and I think you'll see why here soon. Now on to the skills. So, first we are running Sap Essence, Siphon of Vigor from your enemy's blood, dealing 6,368 magic damage to all nearby enemies, and healing you and allies for 1,900, plus 20% more for each enemy hit. This is going to keep us alive in here. This is our spammable. This is a necessity. You could find Sap Essence underneath the Siphoning skill line. It's the last one, and like I said, this is going to be a necessity. Second, we have Inner Light. This is our source of Major Prophecy, which gives us 2,629 spell critical rating. Not as important, you can get this through potions, but we don't need many skills on this account, so I figured I'd slot it and save myself some money in crafting the more expensive potions. Our third skill is Twisting Path, which can be found underneath the Shadow skill line for Nightblades. It's the third one down. Create a corridor of shadows, granting you and allies major expedition, increasing movement speed by 30%. This is really good. You're going to be snared a lot in here. We do have a snare removal, but it doesn't last for long, so this will just give you a little bit more movement speed while you're snared down, and it also does damage over time to the enemies, so you can never go wrong with that. I try to keep this down at all times. Our fourth skill is kind of a flex spot. You don't need to have this slotted, but it is Harness Magika. It gives us the damage shield for 6 seconds. It's okay. We don't really need the sustain from it. I'll show you why once we get to the CP. But I find myself using this if I'm coming out of a stun, I'm low health, and I just need to get a shield up real quick to catch my bearings. It's a great skill. I would recommend running it, but you don't need to. Feel free to fill in whatever you'd like. Our fifth skill is Race Against Time. You could find this in the Psijic Order skill line. Bend time and space around you, then gain Major Expedition for 4 seconds, and Minor Force for 12 seconds, increasing your movement speed by 30% and crit damage by 10%. Activating this ability removes all snares and immobilizations from you and grants immunity to them for 2 seconds. Okay, so the main reason we are using this skill is for the movement speed boost. To get through the dungeon as fast as possible, this is a lifesaver. You could use the other morph, I forget what it's called, but it does have quite a long channel time, so I prefer Race Against Time. Also, if you find yourself snared or running through a section where you know you will get snared, keeping this up is great. You won't get snared, you can easily pop out of being slowed, and this is a necessity. I would say 10 out of 10, you need this on your bar. Lastly, for our front bar, the bread and butter Soul Harvest. Without this, this build would mean absolutely nothing. We do not use this ultimate, but it is the most important thing on this build, and the reason why is that last effect. While slotted, anytime you kill an enemy, you gain 10 ultimate. We're going to be killing enemies so fast in here that our ultimate regen is absolutely insane. And we're going to be able to drop our back bar ult so many times, it's ridiculous. You'll see in the run at the end of the video. But yeah, onto the back bar. So, we'll start with the ult this time. Our back bar ult is going to be Fiery Rage. Create a cataclysmic storm at the target location that builds for 2 seconds, then lays waste to all enemies in the area, dealing 9,500 flame damage every 1 second for 5 seconds. This skill right here is going to be the majority of the damage dealt within Skyreach, at least for this build. With having Soul Harvest on the front bar, we are able to have Fiery Rage down almost at all times. Sometimes we can have 2 almost 3 Fiery Rages active at the same time. It just does insane amounts of damage, and I wouldn't run anything else. I've tried Shooting Star, and it just does not compare to the Fiery Rage ultimate. Another reason we're running Fiery Rage is because the Burning Status effect, which is going to buff our Unstable Wall of Fire. So, these two work very well together, and I would keep them on the back bar where we have our Flame Staff. Okay, so our first ability back here is Shadowy Disguise. This is basically just to speed by the mobs so you don't aggro them when you go to open the chest. Very nice, used alongside Race Against Time. Doesn't really slow you down that much, and you can get by quickly. Second is Swallow Soul. This is more of a utility thing. If you want to use it, you can. I found with my CP that just using Sap Essence, even single target, seems to do more damage than this. So I would say Swallow Soul is a flex spot if you want it to be. Third, we already covered Unstable Wall of Fire. Fourth, Merciless Resolve. I should use this more often, but I don't. It's a good skill to have on your back bar. It's a good skill to keep active. While active, hitting an enemy with 5 light attacks or heavy attacks converts this ability into Assassin's Will, allowing you to fire a spectral arrow for half the cost that deals 15.5k magic damage and heals for 50% of the damage done. That's not why I would use it. I would use it because it increases your critical damage and healing by 2%, up to 5 times. So when this has 5 stacks, you get an extra 10% critical damage. I don't find that I need it. I'm sure if I were to keep it active, things would go slightly faster. So I definitely recommend having this on your bar. If you want to use it, that's up to you. Okay, so let's move on to the gear. Starting out with the monster set, we have Grothdar. This is just an amazing set for any AoE damage, especially in Skyreach where the mobs are going to be directly on you. I don't think there's anything better for you to pick. When you deal damage to an enemy within 8 meters, you have a 10% chance to create lava pools that swirl around you, dealing 2k flame damage to all enemies within 8 meters of you every 1 second for 5 seconds. This can occur once every 10 seconds. The uptime on this is actually pretty decent, and like I said, I've tried a couple different monster sets, and this one seems to be the best. Now, I know you see I am running 1 heavy, 1 medium. Ideally, there should both be light, and I am working on that, but don't feel bad if you don't have them both in light, because this will work just fine. Alright, our second set, and this is the new set that I was testing out, and it seems to have beaten out any other thing that I've tried, is True Sworn Fury. So the amount of critical we get from this is insane. The 2-item set adds 634 spell crit. The 3-item is 124 spell damage. The 4-item is 1000 max mag. And the 5th one is why we run this set. Adds 683 spell critical and increases your critical damage by 4%. That's flat, 4% critical damage buff just from wearing this set. Now this is where it gets juicy. This bonus doubles to 1367 spell crit and 8% increased critical damage when under 75% health. This bonus quadruples to 27 spell crit and 15% damage when you are under 50% health. There are a lot of times on this build where you find yourself low health, and it is noticeable when running this set. I wouldn't pick anything else, but feel free. Other good sets are Medusa's, Mother Sorrow, which is our second set. False Gods is really good. I ran that for a while. But the True Sworn Fury alongside Mother Sorrow, I just don't think you can go wrong with. On the body also, like I said, ideally we want all light divines. And for the Mother Sorrow, on the jewelry, we have 3-piece infused spell damage. The front staff is a lightning staff of Mother Sorrow, precise to get that 7.2% spell critical, and I think it's prismatic onslaught enchantment. It deals more damage to undead and Daedra, so it's kind of nice to have. Yeah. And on our back bar, we have the Inferno Staff of the Mother Sorrow infused with a weapon damage enchant. The reason we're running the Flame Staff on the back bar and the Lightning Staff on the front bar is because we do want Fiery Rage, and we do want Unstable Wall of Fire on our back bar. And on our front bar is where we have Sap Essence and Twisting Paths. And if you look in the Destruction Staff passives, you will see, if I could find it, yes, okay, that equipping a Lightning Staff increases damage done with area effect abilities by 8%. So we're going to get that 8% damage buff on our Sap Essence, which is our main spammable, along with our Twisting Path. The reason we do not want to run this on our back bar is because Elemental Rage, Fiery Rage increases the damage by 15%. I just don't think I can give that up for anything else. And alongside Unstable Wall of Fire, they just coincide perfectly together. It's a lot of damage you get from these two, and with the 8% buff to these two skills on the front bar, you cannot go wrong. Okay, on to food. On this build, we are running something simple, melon baked Parmesan pork. It's just max mag, max health food. If you feel like your health is fine, you can run the green food. I think it gives 6,500 max mag, something like that. So you'll have a little bit more damage, nothing too crazy. And for the potions, you can feel free to run the normal Essence of Magika potions. But I do make Essence of Spell Power, minus the crit. I believe it's just Lady Smock and Cornflower to make these. And the Major Sorcery is very nice to have. So these are what I run. Like I said, Essence of Magika will do fine. And if you don't have any potions, that will also work fine. So let's move on to the CP. In the Warfare tree, the things that I decided to slot were a Thaumaturge, increase your damage done with damage over time effects by 2% per stage, so we get 10% damage to our dots there. And Biting Aura, increase your damage done with area effect attacks by 2% per stage, so we get 10% to our AoEs there. Next, increase your critical damage and critical healing by 2% per stage. Fighting Finesse, I think this is very important to have. It buffs our damage by a lot. Another 10% critical damage on top of the other buffs that we already have. Can't go wrong with this. You also want to make sure you max out Precision to get that 640 crit chance. And the fourth spot is kind of a flex for your slottable. I realize that the archers inside Skyreach deal a massive amount of damage when they take aim on you, so I decided to run Duelist Rebuff. Reduce your damage taken by single target attacks by 2% per stage. So 10% damage mitigation there. I've definitely noticed a difference, but you could feel free to slot Arcane Supremacy. And I'm not sure if it works, but Occult Overload I have thought about running. It sounds kind of good. Whenever you kill an enemy under the effect of a status effect, which most of the enemies that we're fighting will have the burning status effect, they violently explode, for 2300 Oblivion damage per stage to all their enemies in a 4-meter radius. So this seems like it can add a decent chunk of DPS if you had this maxed out. But like I said, you will be getting one hit by the skeletons. I'm not sure how much of a difference the 10% makes, but I've definitely noticed it. Other than that, if you have extra, max mag you can never go wrong with. And I just have the rest in penetration here. Now for the finesse tree. Nothing special here. It's kind of just utility, all the same, for most of the builds that I run. So Boundless Vitality, we get 1400 max health, which is nice. Ironclad, get that armor. Siphoning Spells, this is important. This is what you need slotted. This is why you're fine not running any potions in here. This is why our sustain is fine. We'll basically always be at 100% Magika as long as it's mob dense in our area, and you need this. So yeah, restore 300 Magika per stage whenever you kill an enemy. So we're restoring 1500 Magika every kill we get. We're never running out of Magika within Skyreach. And lastly is Juggernaut. When under the effect of a crowd control immunity, you take 2% less damage per stage. This coincides very, very well with our Race Against Time. So yeah, as long as we keep this up, we're going to be taking 2% less damage, and we're alive and happy within Skyreach. Okay, so I think that covers it all. If you have any questions, let me know. So let's get a run through.
Make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. More than power, never ever after work is over. Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Never over. Work it, make it better, do it faster, makes it stronger. All that ever power. Work is never over. Work it, make it better, do it faster, makes it stronger. All that ever power. Work is never over.